up, everyone? Welcome to a new episode of Once a Project podcast, brought to you by your host, Brandon Lara. Joining me is a friend of mine. Today we don't have Jackie in the studio. She's feeling a bit under the weather. So today we have a very special guest.
Hello. How y'all doing?
Our,
I'm Beau, good friend of Brandon's, and
oh, yeah.
I'm happy to be here, Brandon. Thank you.
Welcome, bro. You're welcome. He's our first guest out of the year, so
That's
we're excited to
right.
have him.
Number one.
Welcome, bro. How's your day been?
It's been good. Really busy. Been running around all day, but I'm here now. I'm ready. So,
Why are you talking like that?
like what?
Like that?
Like this?
Yeah.
I don't know, bro. I'm just used to talking like this in microphones.
Gotcha.
This high talking microphones.
Gotcha. Well, we first want to send blessings to all the listeners. Thank you guys for listening and tuning in. And, hopefully everyone is doing well at the time of this recording. And, thanks again. But, Beau, I want to have you on the podcast because I figured you'd be a great host or a great guest, to have on. We have a lot of stories.
Yeah, for sure.
So I think we should start off by talking about how we met each other.
All right. Yeah, that was way back. So how old were we? Like
12?
12 years old. Let me move this microphone in front of me a little so I could look at you while I'm talking. But yeah, I think we were 12 years old, sixth grade. Went to a school called Fox Hollow Elementary.
Yeah.
And he ended up just being in my class and was a friend of a friend's. And it's crazy that we ended up being friends as adults because that doesn't usually happen. But
Remember the dare officer would tell us that he's like, don't think that the friends that you're gonna have in high school, they're gonna be your friends after high school.
I know, fake ass. He lied. Yeah, I took dare twice.
Dang, twice. Why?
Yeah. So I went. Technically, it's two different districts. There's a lot more, but I was in two different districts.
Mm-hmm.
Fox Hollow follows through District 91, I believe, but I originally was in District 93, and they do DARE in 2 different years. So I did a DARE in 5th grade in District 93, and then I did it again in 91. And to be honest with you, I smoke weed every day. So
Damn.
here we are. But I still appreciate the practice and the morals of all that stuff.
So what'd you think about dare? Do you think it's effective?
No, and that's kind of why I just brought up, I smoke a lot of weed, to be honest with you. Like, I do, like, a lot every day.
What is it that makes you want to smoke weed a lot? Because you were telling me just before we started this recording that you smoke about 6 bowls a day.
If not more, yeah.
If not more,
on top of that with wax. Honestly, to me, like some people, it makes them anxious or whatever.
Yeah.
Self-conscious, or they can't think.
You feel like Superman?
No, yeah, no, hell yeah, I feel like Superman. I feel good, But at the same time, I think it really does help with stress, and it's really a mind and body therapy for me,
Mm-hmm.
Like, honestly, like I don't just use it to get fucked up. Like, I use it to just take the edge off on my normal days in life.
So you think it's more so for like medicinal for mental health?
I'd say so. I probably could go well off without it. I'm not saying it's medicinal and it's necessary, but
Yeah.
it definitely does make my day-to-day life a lot smoother in a sense.
Mm-hmm.
But I could definitely function without it. It's a choice to do that.
So I want to ask you, what do you think about like the government recently making weed legal in a lot of states, but not Idaho? What do you think about that?
I think personally, that for the other states, it is great. I think it's awesome. I think more people should be smoking weed and less people should be drinking. I think it's all around a lot better for you. It definitely does have its cons, like inhaling any kind of smoke in your lungs is not great for you. But like it's still like you can drive on that shit. And I'm not saying to just go get high and drive, but it's a lot safer and a lot more areas. And because of that, I think you're able to be a lot more responsible, and you're able to, be the mature and independent person that you need to be, and still be able to function on it properly and still get your day-to-day stuff done. So I think it's a good thing that the states did that. But a lot as for Idaho, hopefully we get in. But I've been told that it's never gonna happen, or by the time that it does happen, we won't be here. So I'm just kind of sitting and waiting to see.
So, so do you think that people get addicted to weed? Do you think that's an actual thing? Because I'll tell you what I think after you answer.
Okay, yeah. It's not habit forming, like in the sense of when you do it, you can stop doing it. You're not gonna get any like crazy withdrawals.
Yeah.
You're not gonna have any like crazy, like you're not gonna like wake up breaking out in sweat. So you're not gonna be fiending for it. It doesn't create that habit in your brain. It doesn't form that neuron. So um, with that being said, I do feel like because it is still a drug and it still does get you high, there is some sort of dopamine chemical release going on in your brain. With that being said, I feel like that is addictive for anyone. I mean, you can hold your breath and pass yourself out, and it'll release endorphins and dopamine and whatnot. It feels good, and like I feel like there's people who are mentally where they need to be, and if they're not strong enough, anybody can become codependent on any type of release such as that. But as for the drug itself, I don't think it's addictive. No.
So, because I was listening to this girl talk about like she went to like a recovery place, right?
Mm-hmm.
Like what's this thing called over by the mall?
Like rehabilitation?
Yeah, like what's the behavioral center
Oh yeah,
called?
I know what you're talking about. It's like, yeah, the behavioral center.
Yeah, so she went to one of those, right? And the reason why was because she, excuse me, she got addicted, right, to weed. And she got so addicted to weed that she would almost even do it for sex. Like she would only have sex while being high. And that if she could get high and have sex, then that's how she would get her high. If that makes sense. But she would say that it's addicting, that she went through like chills when she tried to get off it, on withdrawals and this and that, right? When I was hearing this, I was like, well, I've never had someone tell me that getting off weed was this bad, or getting addicted to weed was like this. Because I was always told kind of what you just explained, that it's not addicted, it's not addictable. Like you can drop it anytime you want,
Right, it's
really.
non-habit forming, yeah.
Yeah, but I've always thought about it as in like you can get comfortable with it to the point where you're almost in the need of wanting to get that comfort that you get with smoking weed, right?
Yeah,
So if you're like a really
definitely.
anxious person and you smoke weed and it helps you get through your through your day,
Right.
then like you get used to that to that habit of smoking to get through your day, that now you become comfortable in it.
Right. So
Does that make sense?
yeah, do you agree with her? I guess I should ask you, do you believe what she's telling is the truth, or do you think
I think I don't know. Everyone is different, but I don't think it was just weed what she was smoking. I think it might have been spice.
yeah, and there you go. That's what I was
You know?
just gonna say. It was probably laced with something. If she did have chills, if she's breaking out with cold sweats and stuff like that over a drug that's non-habit forming and you don't get withdrawals from, either two things are going on. Either she's created, like something in her head where she's become addicted to that release
Yeah.
of itself in a sense, but even that, it shouldn't be habit forming to the brain because of the drug that you're intaking. So with that, it just leaves me to think that it was probably laced or another drug on top
That's
of
what I
that.
was thinking too. Cool. Well, yeah, guys. So we went off track there how we met up, but we essentially met up in elementary school.
Mm-hmm.
You were best friends with another kid. We're not gonna say his name. And then I was like mad because you were friends with me first, and then you kind of dropped my ass because of this friend that we have in common now, or that we had in common at the time. And then yeah, you invited me over to your house. I remember. And then since then, I met some of the other guys in our crew, and we kind of kicked off from there.
Yeah,
But
it's clicked from there, and we've all just kind of grown together,
what's one thing you think that me and you have in common?
Me and you,
That's kind of weird to ask, but
no, that's a good question. Like, that basically is asking, like, why are we friends?
yeah. Or what do you think? If it's easier, what do you think it's something that we relate in?
Common interests, yeah.
Yeah.
Basically, I'll just kind of give you like a timeline of why I think we still are friends. But I don't think this connection would have been what it was when we first met. I think when we first met, you know, kids are kids.
Yeah.
And, you know, we just got along good. That's what it was. You know, some kids get along, some don't.
Yeah.
And with that being said, as we got older, though, we all started going in our own direction, started kind of following our own passions more and whatnot.
Yeah.
And with that being said, you know, that's when interests start to individualize themselves and get more specific. And then that's when, you know, if you want to follow something, you got to decide if you're going to cut someone off or not. But I think what's kept us friends is basically just aspiration, you know, like, and looking for a brighter escape, you know, wanting more out of life.
Yeah.
You know, situationally and financially than, you know, the average person does. And I think that's what really still connects us as friends.
Do you have like a favorite memory from childhood?
Of like what? Like
Of like, let's say involving us, like me, you, and then some of the other guys. I have one, dude, that comes right to my head.
favorite memory.
Yeah.
What's yours? Tell me yours first. Let me hear where you're going with
When so it was me, Junior, and you sleeping over at your house, and the next morning, I think it was me and Junior who drew on you.
Oh yeah, y'all drew dicks on my face. Damn.
We drew on you, and we drew some fucking glasses on there, dude.
Bro, I think I cried too. I was so mad as a little kid. I cried. You know when you're like angry and a little kid, and you're frustrated, but you know you can't do anything, so you just start tearing up.
You woke up. You woke up so fucking pissed, dude. You started crying. So then you went up to your mom, dude. You had me kicked out of there. You had me get kicked out of your house, dude.
Yeah.
And me and Junior, you kicked us both. And you're like, I don't want you guys to come over ever again. This and that.
God, I mean, I don't know. I'd say if this was a good memory, but like looking back at it now, this is funny, and that kind of brought me to this. I remember one time, bro. I don't know why we did it. We were playing in my yard, all of us, and for some reason we were playing tag, and I think I was it, you know, blah blah blah.
Yeah.
And there was like dog shit in the yard, and it was dried up, and I got mad at you. So I started chasing you with it, bro, because I felt like I didn't deserve to be it. I feel like you cheated me, because, bro, I still think low key you were playing a little unfair, but it's cool. But I was chasing you with this dog shit, and I ended up throwing it at you, and you were a lot bigger than me. This is before I was really skinny as a kid, and so Brandon, he got really mad, and he grabbed the dog shit, pinned me down, and he rubbed that shit on my mouth, and I literally like bit down so it didn't get in my mouth. He rubbed that shit all over my front teeth, dude, and I fucking started crying again, bro. Motherfucker. And I fucking told my mom, bro, and like,
oh shit,
God, bro, I don't know why my mom kept letting you come over, bro. That's crazy, bro.
Oh, dude, I remember that one time where we had that one kid named Cameron over, and we were sleeping in the trampoline.
Yeah.
Supposedly, and I beat the fuck out of him too.
Bro, I still talk to him.
You do? I think I saw him driving the other day.
Yeah, crazy story actually. I was with them, and I was with the other Brandon, another good friend of ours. And I was with Brandon and Cam, and we were driving. I took him to his mom's, literally just giving him a ride to his mom's. He doesn't got a car. And literally, motherfucker, cops pull up on me out of nowhere. And then they asked me, they think I'm like picking up drugs from him or something. They arrest him on the spot, and I had to bail him out, bro, just like last week. Anyways, yeah, that's how he's doing.
Well, doesn't he have a baby?
He does, yeah, but I think it's
We're not gonna talk about it.
Yeah.
Moving on. Yeah,
it's not important.
Yeah, not important. But yeah, dude, I remember. Or the one time last story. The one time I was sleeping over at your house, and I fucking blew all my burgers on your blanket.
Oh my God, this guy. Okay, listen to this. Yeah. So Brandon, like when he first came to our house, because our moms, I guess, had some sort of arrangement, and his mom would pay my mom to babysit Brandon and his brothers after school. And you know, when they stay the night and shit, and then they'd go to school with us the next day, you know, shower, bring some clothes and shit. His mom was just, you know, she's working, she's hustling. So with that being said, dude, one time he's laying down in my room. My mom gave him some blankets to use, and how old were we at the time? Like, had to be like 12 still again, huh?
12,
still
dude.
6th grade. And this guy was too shy, too scared to wake everybody up in the house. He woke up at like 8 a.m, sick and congested as hell. And instead of asking someone, I guess he went up to the bathroom. There was no toilet paper. So instead of either going up and finding someone or waking someone up, this motherfucker just decided to stay laying down and just wiped his nose, congested. We're talking like thick, green sick, like he was sick, all over this blanket, literally like all over this blanket, just like hella mucus and hella green ooze everywhere. And it was so gross. And it was bullshit because we all woke up and I found it. I was like, what the hell? When my grandma found it, actually.
No. This is what happened. We woke up, right? And I acted all asleep and shit. And so then...
You pointed it out, huh?
No, didn't. I threw the blanket first over the fence. Remember? And your mom was like, where's that blanket at?
Oh, my God.
And then we got it because we looked behind the fence and it was there, dude.
What? This guy tried destroying the evidence.
So it was there. So then we get it, right? And then...
What the fuck?
And then your mom sees the fucking boogers on there and she's like, who wiped the boogers on this blanket? And then that's when I was like, oh shit, they discovered me. Like they found out. And then I had to give myself up and I was like, it was me.
He didn't give himself up for a while though. He played along. He goes, what the hell? Yeah, that's fucked up. And like starts like acting like one of the civilians. He's like, yeah, that's weird. Who the hell would do that? They can't just ask for toilet paper. And everyone was just freaking out. How fucking ignorant. That's so, because my household was bad. Everyone had a bad mouth. So my mom's just freaking out. She didn't care if the kids swore. Kids are swearing. Like this guy's just blending in with everyone else. So, yo, what the hell? That's weird. Motherfucker. Hey, hold on. On that note, before we change topics, he did, once he did get exposed, he got so scared and so embarrassed that he cried and went to Walmart and called his mom and waited in the Walmart parking lot so he didn't have to face reality.
Oh shit. Yeah, dude. Or the other time I cried was when you saw my dick.
That is ass, bro.
Let me give it some context. So I was in the restroom, like I was 13.
Yeah, this restroom it don't even shut all the way. This door's like half a door.
Yeah, so I was peeing, and then I turn around like to look at the door, and all I see is fucking Beau there standing, just looking at me. And then he's like, I saw your dick. Starts to run upstairs, dude. I go up there. I'm like, what the fuck? He tells me, yeah, bro, it was shaped like this. I was like, dude. I got so insecure, so fucking, I don't know. It was like, I just felt naked in a sense. So I cried.
Exposed.
I called my mom and they came and picked me up.
Oh, shit. That was funny shit.
But...
God, like, gotta love it, dude. Broken ass house. Yeah, the door was like broken as hell. And I just like walked by and this fool, I didn't even know he's using the bathroom. I walked by and the door's fucking not even a real door. So I look over and I'm like, oh shit. And I was like, bro, I just saw your shit. And yeah, good times, bro.
Good times, dude.
Crazy.
Or the one time we were driving with your dad and I almost ran over the people.
Oh my God, yeah. Brandon didn't have his license, didn't have his
Still
permit. Still doesn't. That's my point exactly. This guy is uneducated when it comes to the laws of driving. And so my dad's letting him drive, and it's like 1 a.m. We're out in this field, and he's literally, Brandon's hauling probably like 30 in this field, 35 maybe. We're just sitting there like hitting bumps, boom, 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 like just getting it, And all of a sudden there's like a couple and a kid walking at like 1 a.m, walking through this field. Probably sound like like who knows what they're doing. And my dad says, yo, watch out for those people right there. And Lara, literally, he probably gets less than a foot away from the father and the child. Less than a foot away driving by him. And he literally goes, oh, okay. And he said, we were all like, oh, watch out, you're getting close. And then they move out of the way, but he's still like less than a foot from them. And we're like, damn, you almost hit those people. I thought you said you were going to watch out for them. And he goes, oh, what people? God, bro, crazy, bro. Crazy.
Dude. The fucking stories crack me up. They're good stories.
They are good stories now.
We had some good fucking times.
Yeah, we did.
I wanted to ask you though. So now that so how was your high school experience?
That's a good question, honestly. To be honest, like when I first started high school, like and from like going in from middle school into high school at the beginning, I was really awkward, shy, weird. I had like I didn't know how to socialize, bro. Like straight up, like I had a problem communicating with people. I had like confidence problems, like all sorts of shit that every kid deals with. But like on top of that, like I had like because of my family situation, I'd missed a lot of school, and so like I felt like extra uneducated to compared
Yeah.
to everyone else. And like on top of that, I hadn't seen everyone as much, so the beginning of it was kind of rough. It was really rough, and I really hated it. And like I hated going to school almost like, and I dropped out for like a year or two. And but like once I hopped back in, like through the end, I actually, I realized shit wasn't so bad if you just kind of speak up. And I
So you're talking about how like you dealt with certain like what was it? Like self-confidence and things like that.
yeah, like
So where do you think that comes from? Do you think that's something that kind of came around in high school, or do you think it was like something that you were growing up with?
I think a little bit of both. I always had like anxiety as a kid, but on top of that, my household was kind of basically my both of my parents were on drugs all the time. Usually
Yeah.
it was like meth or dope or something else. So with that, they were like, they were good parents, for what it was
Yeah.
worth. Like
And if you don't want to talk about this, bro.
no, we're good. They were good parents for what it was worth, but they're still on drugs. So with that being said, they were a little like always tweaking. And so with that
Yeah.
being said, there was certain like social cues that like I didn't understand because of how they acted, and then that kind of caused me to act weird. On top of that, I'm sure like I have ADHD and like the anxiety, and I'm sure that came from either them doing drugs while I was in the womb or just me being raised around drug addicts. But yeah, I
Yeah.
believe it just had to do with how I was raised, and then going into school, I just missed a lot of social cues, and and I didn't have the
What's
confidence or security.
what's a social cue that you think you missed?
Like for example, like it was weird. I don't know why it was such a big deal, but honestly, like it's kind of funny to talk about now. But like females, even like making guy friends, but like talking to females, it was like fucking a whole puzzle for me. It was like a maze. It's like arithmetic that I couldn't get down.
Yeah.
And like I saw everyone else that was my age like out here like pulling bitches, and I'm like, damn, like. And like on top of that, I had a feeling of, maybe the confidence and like the insecurity had to do with like they also
Yeah.
never got me clothes, bro. I was always wearing like hand-me-downs or my dad's clothes, but like when I sat down, my like pants were from the DI and they go up to like above my ankle,
Yeah.
and like they just never fit, and I was always getting like hand-me-down shit, and it was all
So you think it was just a lot of like your environment that made you
yeah,
feel
bro. And
insecure?
like on top of that, I have one jacket and that's it. They wouldn't give me a new one. I wore the same jacket every day, and like people would tell me, like people would be like,
Fucking dicks.
yeah, kids are snide in school. They'd just be like, like, didn't you wear that like all
Especially
last week?
especially if you go to like some of those like schools where you can tell the kids come from a well set family,
Right? Yeah.
because you can go to like a school close to the hills, right? And all those kids are wearing fucking Jordans, Air Forces,
Right.
like really good shit. You go to school downtown, and these kids are not wearing the same stuff that these kids are wearing.
Yeah, absolutely.
And you can kind of tell. It's kind of crazy. I don't know if you were like, oh, I don't know if you were here. You never experienced like regular high school, huh? Here in Idaho Falls.
Yeah, I did.
Did you go to like what high school did you go
I've
to?
been to Bonneville and Lincoln.
Okay, so if you go to Bonneville and you go to Thunder Ridge, you can tell that they dress very different.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
And a lot of it comes from the household, like the family, how well the family is off, So like at Skyline, dude, a lot of the kids were not, they come from poor families, like I did and everyone else at Skyline did for the most part. But even inside the high school, you can kind of tell which kids were well set.
Right, you can tell which ones are well off and which ones are.
Yeah, because I didn't wear one jacket.
Right.
One jacket, dude. But I wore two fucking jackets for like throughout the whole year,
Yeah.
until I could start working by myself and then like buy my stuff. But for a good amount, like I remember freshman year, dude, my mom would buy us, and like bless her heart, because she did the most she could for us, But I remember my mom would buy us 4 shirts and 3 pants, and that was like the outfits for the whole year.
Yeah, exactly.
Besides what you got at Christmas or New Year's.
Right.
or I mean, not New Year's, birthday presents.
Right. Yeah.
So I know how that feels like in a way, because you feel shitty, dude, wearing the same shirt every 3 days, you know?
Absolutely. Yeah. Absolutely. And
So,
like, but I think honestly, like I said, because high school did end up getting better. So with that being said, like I think going through all that, like, cause like maybe and like I grew up like it was weird, with the household that I had.
mm-hmm.
You would have think that I would have like had a little bit more hair on my chest as a kid, but I didn't. I was actually like really innocent. Like I didn't want to swear. I didn't want to be doing all this bad stuff. And so with that, like I was more reserved. I was more shy. I was more like humble, and so like it did create like bigger insecurities when it came to like social stuff and like that. But like I think going through that helped accelerate me getting over that in the long run, which is why high school ended up getting better before it even ended.
Yeah. Um, so what's something that you're grateful for that you've seen kind of come about, or that you've developed over the past couple of years, that you're like, damn, that's badass, that I'm grateful for myself that I went through that or did that, that now you use for anything, right?
Honestly, that's a hard one. It's kind of a big question. So I guess I would say like
I can give you an
my
example.
I would probably say like my character, to be
Your
honest.
character.
Yeah, my character, like, and it just goes back into that kind
Yeah.
of stuff. Like, I've become when I was younger, like I didn't understand where I wanted to go in life. I didn't understand, as any
Mm-hmm.
kid does, which direction he wants to go. And 18 starts coming, you start getting nervous. But I had already lost both my parents before I was even 18. So like, I was at a point where I was like, fuck, I don't want to grow up. And on top of that, like throughout my childhood, it was so chaotic and switching up so much that I didn't really get a childhood. And so like I
Yeah.
wasn't ready to grow up, if I'm being honest. I really wasn't. But more worse shit kept happening after that, and I think it like caused me to accelerate and just dive into it head first, and it actually ended up building my character a lot more than if I
Yeah.
would have just had a normal life. And like I say normal life, but like there's people that got it worse off than me, and
Yeah.
they could be more same-minded than me. But I definitely did have some big stuff that definitely implemented a big change in how my character is today. So
What's it called? Oh, I lost my train of thought. Damn it! I was gonna ask you yeah, what's a lesson that you learned? Because, like I was there when you were going through a lot of what you're talking about, right? And we don't
yeah,
have to get
yeah.
into details about any of that stuff, but I was there for a lot of these like big events, and I saw a lot of how your childhood was up to the point now, right?
Right, yeah, yeah.
Because we met when we were 12, and we were friends from 12 still to the point,
Now we're 21,
now we're
yeah.
21. So how long is that? I mean, almost 10 years,
More or less.
11 years. So seeing you kind of grow has been pretty damn cool in my point of view. But I've always wondered, like, what is it that has kept you going, and what's the lesson that you've learned
Yeah,
with
that's a good
that?
question. Honestly,
Because with all the stuff that you've gone through, dude, I think to myself sometimes, like, how the fuck did Beau get through that? Like, sometimes I don't. It's hard for me to believe it,
yeah,
More so
yeah.
because some of those things are hard,
Absolutely
you know.
hard, like heartbreaking, like they tear your
Yeah.
soul apart. Yeah, they literally, and like I said, they make you rethink, who you are, and that's basically like what brought me to what I am. But basically, what kept getting me through that, because there's a lot of times that I'm gonna be honest, I didn't want to go through it. There's a lot of times where
Mm-hmm.
like I had like a 2-3 year slum where I was depressed. I was sleeping every day for maybe like I would go to bed at night, and then like I wouldn't wake up till like 3 p.m. and then I'd eat and then literally go back to bed, and I did that for like almost like a year or two. But what kept me going honestly is as I got older, like reality just starts to kick
Mm-hmm.
in, and you gotta ask yourself, what am I doing with my life,
Yeah.
And then you see other people and they got shit that you don't, and you gotta ask yourself like, whoa, do I want that shit, or what? If not, like, what do I want? And on top of that, I was in a situation where I realized the situation I was in, my younger brothers were in as well,
Yeah.
but you know, I didn't have anyone older, no role model to look up to anymore. And honestly, I really needed one.
Yeah.
And I actually became one for myself, which is the most amazing thing. But my younger brothers, I could tell they were doing shit that I did that were mistakes, but I wish I wouldn't have made those mistakes if I just would have
Yeah.
had a role model or better guidance. And so I think honestly, like they helped me a lot to want to become like the man that I am and like build the character that I needed to be like a leading role model and shit. And so like, and that just kind of helped me independently, like be a strong individual character that I am, you know?
Yeah. So we've had a lot of talks. Like I remember when we would go to the river and walk around and just have these
Yeah,
deep
yeah.
talks. From that time now, do you think you've grown as a person?
Oh, absolutely, yeah.
And what's been like the coolest thing that you've seen grow?
Um, well, there's a few small things, but they led to like a big change. One of them is that was what, a year or two, maybe like 2 or 3 years ago now, huh?
Yeah, probably three, closer to three.
During that time, dude, I was like heavily addicted to Adderall,
Yeah.
really bad, and
Well,
so
we
like,
should tell a story of when I took Adderall after this.
okay, yeah, let's do that. But I was heavily addicted to Adderall, you know.
Yeah.
I was just running through like trying to get. I was like getting my 30-day prescription. I was like, okay, well if I take 5 today, and then I don't take 5 for 5 days, I'll just go through the withdrawals. But that way I can have 5 again after those 5 days. Anyways, I was just fucking my body up, you know, going up and down, withdrawing, and then coming back on and off. And you know that was rough. I'm gonna be honest, but like, and it was so bad. It was to the point where like I needed Adderall before breakfast, and then when I did eat breakfast, I just puke it out. I wasn't eating. I got really small, and just gagging all the time.
I want to ask you something about Adderall.
Yeah.
Sorry
What's
to cut
up?
you off.
No, you're good.
Do you think Adderall? There's a lot of people on Adderall now, like
Yeah,
a lot
there
of
is.
people.
Uh-huh.
Does that scare you in a sense through knowing what you went through and knowing like the effects of it and how addictive it can be? Because Adderall is what, like basically meth, right? In a pill.
It's an amphetamine, methamphetamine though. If you break it down on like the chemical bond table, there's a little bit of a extra branch with meth rather than Adderall, so it's not quite as damaging long term, but it still is an amphetamine and a stimulant, so it can have, you know, the effects of an amphetamine if
Yeah.
not used as prescribed, which is what I was doing. So it scares me, but at the same time it doesn't, because you know, and like this might sound selfish to say, like as for everyone, you know, I hope they find their own. There's people that say they took it and you know it fixed them. You know, there's people that
Yeah.
couldn't focus, or there's people that couldn't get shit done, and they couldn't organize their life properly, and it helped them do that in the sense to where they could get things going for themselves. But at the same time, I think it low key it makes the world kind of gray and colorless, as does any medication that you get put on. And it kind of turns people into bots, as weird as it sounds, but it
Yeah.
turns you into a bot. And so, you know, I'm worried about it, but at the same time, I'm not, because like, you know, if everyone's bots, but you're not, at least you were able to get out of that, you know? So I'm not worried about everyone else, but I hope they do find their own. But as long as me and my people and my family, you know, we're getting out of that, instead of, you know, like falling a victim into the rest of that and the rest of what society's doing, then honestly, I'm okay and I'm content with that for right now.
Gotcha. What about younger kids? How do you feel about them like taking Adderall?
That's scary, because that's actually a good question. My younger brother is he's prescribed Adderall and he's only like 8, and you know, for me that scares me, because I know what that did.
I want to read you something here that
Okay,
I'm
yeah,
pulling
yeah.
up on. There's this what's it called? Like an article. There's this article that says Adderall has been approved for use in patients age 3 and older. So from the age 3 and up. Now, I think that's something
bullshit.
that
Crazy.
that's fucked up, you know, because
Yeah.
a kid's brain isn't even developed at 3. Like a 3-year-old dude, what is he? He's probably thinking about what, like nothing. Why is the sky blue? Probably, you know.
Exactly. Yeah.
So to see
Why
that,
this guy blue?
yeah, to see that that's something that's legal and can be done, that scares me.
That's a scary thought, yeah. And that goes into like with my little brother. I do get scared at what it can do for the development of the brain. It's kind of a scary thought, you know, because the society just barely jumping into that, and you know it's becoming a really big thing. A lot of people are doing
Yeah.
it. So you know, for people close to me, like I said, like as my brother, but it has helped him. You know, the results of his learning acceleration and stuff like that, it has proven positive results. So
Yeah.
like I can't argue it, but there's always the fear that it could cause some sort of problem with the development of his brain in the future, and that does scare me with kids as young as that. So
Yeah. But we don't know where it holds, you know, like the long term effects.
right,
It's like the COVID vaccine. Like you don't know the long term effects
yeah,
of it because it
absolutely.
wasn't it. The COVID vaccine was done in a period of 24 months. You
Which
know.
is that's crazy if you think about it.
Yeah. And usually vaccines take years for them
Yeah,
to get
yeah.
developed to make sure that there's no long term effects. So that's just crazy to me. But um, so okay, so now we're at a high school, and then what happens after we're at a high school? What do you knowing that you didn't want the life that your parents had and the type of lifestyle that you had growing up, I assume you decide to change.
Yeah, I did in a sense. So basically, I had just started actually taking my prescription as I turned like 18,
Mm-hmm.
just getting out of high school. But I was still really depressed, and I think that had a factor to do with it. You know, just withdrawing off and on. I'm sure that's
Yeah.
not good for you, but I was depressed for a good like year or two, and like I wasn't eating. I got really small. I think I went down to like 130 almost, 135, and now I'm almost 170. So, and like normally I'm like 160. So, um,
Damn.
it's yeah. And so like I went down to like 130, 140, low 140, high 30s. But um, I was depressed for like a good year or two. But then like um, I gotta go around my uncle, and he kind of just, you know, he had his own shit going on, but watching, you know, someone that's at least 10 years older than me
Yeah.
cope with his problems, and like watching him personally cope and work through it when his situation was far worse than mine, and he had burned up a lot more time than me, made me kind of realize, like, in the sense, like, shit, I still do got a lot of time. I still do got a lot of push. Like, you know, if I want to change this, like, obviously he's still working through it, and like,
Yeah.
you know, if he can do it, then like it's not the end of the world for me. So I almost, in a sense, made my uncle my role model in a sense, and I took the principles and things that I liked about him, and I basically inherited those, and I inherited those traits.
So you think he was like a pretty big influence in your life?
Absolutely, yeah. So
Shout out to your uncle.
yeah, absolutely awesome guy. But yeah, he had his problems, but he definitely made me the man I am. Like, and then a lot of it, I see a lot of myself in him, and it's crazy because I've only, you know, it was from like 18 to 21, but I hadn't really had a good male role model. So like, and I think that has a lot to do with why I wasn't ready to grow up. I wasn't ready to take the world head on. You know, I was never taught that, you
Mm-hmm.
know, what a man's place is in this world, and like it is honestly, you know, there's a lot of responsibility when it
Yeah.
comes down to it.
So then okay. So you're saying that you're talking about how like you weren't ready to grow up. How was it seeing like me and Junior and you know I don't know how much Brandon was involved, but how was it seeing us grow up where you weren't still ready to grow up?
It was hard, bro. It was hard. It was really hard. Like, I remember just coming back from Utah. I'll throw a quick replay. So basically, what happened was in middle school, my mom was kind of losing her mind, and I basically, without any notice or anything, we got put in our aunt and uncle's cars and got sent to Utah for 2 years to live with my aunt and uncle that I didn't know. Basically, and I was Mormon LDS when I lived up there, and on a strict rule and strict basis, I couldn't leave or anything. And I was basically, it was prisoner, and I was treated like a prisoner, and
Mm-hmm.
I wasn't given no trust, I wasn't given no respect, no freedom, and I was to follow a strict like rule set, and it was crazy. A lot of discipline though, good for me. Honestly, later on, I appreciated it, but
Wait, hold on, Beau. Let me check something here. Something is going on here.
Is it bugging out?
No. Oh, no, I think we're good, actually.
You need to cut that out?
No, we're good. No, we're good. I thought it stopped recording, but it did. We're good.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
We're good. We're good. Go ahead. So you were sent to Utah.
Oh yeah. I sent to Utah. Anyways, came back and what was your question?
How was it seeing like me, Junior,
Oh
grow up?
yeah. So then I came back, and y'all were just getting out of like your party phase. You know, you guys were drinking like a lot, like almost every day. You guys were smoking all the time. You guys were hanging out with bitches, and like it was pretty crazy. And
Yeah.
like I had missed out on that for like a whole 2-3 years almost, and it made me like just feel like, damn, I'm really behind. And so basically, like the time that I should have been spending to start preparing for adulthood, like you guys were, and just getting out of that phase, I dived into that phase head first and started fucking around as much as I could. And it was more out of panic, and it was more out of not wanting to face the reality that I need to be here, but instead I still want to be there. But that time was already gone.
Yeah. Yeah, because I remember like it was a time where I kind of just like phased out. You know, I stopped doing a lot of things that we were doing, like partying and
Right.
being teenagers more than anything.
Yeah, absolutely.
So like I phased out, and then I started growing up, I guess, and then Junior was following me right behind, right?
Right, yeah. I
And
remember
then
that.
but then like I didn't see Brandon or you kind of follow us, so I was like, I wonder what they see, you
Right,
know?
yeah.
And I remember once we had a conversation. We were driving, and you're like, dude, you know, you how you're living your life right now, and how much I've seen you grow. This is you talking to me, right? You're like, you're on cloud nine right now, on a thinking level, like of where you want to go, where what you want to be. And he's like, we're like on cloud seven still, trying to figure stuff out.
Right.
So that kind of put a lot into perspective, where I was like, okay, these guys, because I was trying to kind of give you guys a lot of what I was learning and how I was growing. Like I was trying to give you guys a lot of these things that were helping me kind of figure out what I want to do with life. But then when you told me that, it made me think about, okay, these guys are just not ready for this knowledge yet. These guys are not ready, for how I'm thinking about life,
Mm-hmm.
And then eventually you guys came about, where
Right.
you guys started to come more.
And choose our own like direction. Yeah, I know
Yeah.
what you mean.
Yeah, because there was a point in time where I was like, why are they not like, why are they still partying and things like that?
Right. Why is it not clicking?
Yeah, but a lot of it could have been me, that I was just growing up too fast.
Yeah, and I think honestly, but that's not a bad thing, man, because
Yeah.
we're only getting older.
Yeah.
It's a sad thing and it's a shame, but in a sense, it's necessary. So
Yeah. So you do rap. You rap, right?
yes, I'm a rap artist.
So what's your rap name?
It's a Caution.
Caution.
Yeah.
Where can people find you at?
Apple Music, Spotify. I'm on YouTube as well. I have a song out right now called The Function.
The Function.
Yeah, it's weird. So it's Caution, but the I is just a exclamation point. That's it.
Nice.
And so with The Function, the I is also,
An exclamation point.
yeah.
Cool. So you've been rapping for some time now, dude. I remember when you would listen to Eminem and rap his
Yeah.
lyrics. So when did you figure out that you wanted to like do that?
So when I first like, I don't think like it clicked in my head that I wanted to do this professionally and like wanted to dive into it like that. But I remember the passion came up in 7th grade. I was just hopping in at the age of 13. And let's see, I was 13 and I remember just listening to a lot of like hip hop and Eminem.
Yeah.
And I just kind of started, like as a little kid, I heard it and started like trying to rhyme
Yeah.
bullshit ass words and, trying to have fun with it, and use like a bunch of stupid apps on my phone that I thought sounded cool. And then it wasn't until I went to Utah, and then I got pulled away from a lot of that kind of stuff. And I was like there for like maybe like a whole year without like no music and nothing but like gospel hymns and stuff. And then all of a sudden I ended up copping my own phone, low key. They didn't even let me have my own phone. I was on a contract. I had to give it back to them every night before I went to bed.
Yeah.
But anyways, I caught my own phone, and Leo, he ended up sending me this app that I could download songs for free on because I don't have Wi-Fi on it. And it brought me back into the music culture. And that music culture, it took me back to all the times that I had before. I felt like I was in this containment and this basically moral prison that I was put in on such high discipline. And it took me back to my prior life, of having fun as a kid and what life was really about. And it's just like enjoying yourself in the experience. So like the music culture, it really brought me back, and it took me away, man. It really did. And that's when I like started writing in Utah, and I was like, dude, I really want to do this. I really want to do this. And I was like sending you guys my songs because I was like, yo, listen to this. Like, and like, you guys, like, even though it was ass at the time and I was nowhere close to experienced, I was like, I was happy people were listening, like, and I was getting like positive attention from it. And, it's just like a culture I really wanted to be a part of and loved. And I think that's where the passion just kind of grew. And from there, I just kind of, people didn't ever take me as serious as I wanted to be about it. And so I just kept taking myself serious. And I finally got to a point where there's no way you can't take me serious now when you hear the product,
Yeah. So how like, cause I remember you started to rap out of nowhere, but how did you know that you were good at rapping? Cause you can actually spit, you can actually for real spit.
Thanks, bro.
So how was it that you found out that you're like, holy shit, I can spit? Cause I tried spitting. And I couldn't, dude. Like they just didn't work for me.
Yeah.
So,
Well, thank you. I appreciate that. First off,
that's why we're doing podcasts now, dude.
Yeah.
I can talk for days.
Here we are. I think honestly, like when I found out like I could spit like all fast, and that's where it started off. Now I'm kind of, as I got older, focused more on the lyricism and or construct of a song. But I at first it was just like the practice of it. I would just practice how to say a bunch of shit fast. Like I would sit there and it wasn't even rhyming. Like I would sit there and like talk about the like if right now I'm looking at the floor and I'm looking at the table, then I'm looking at the mic, and like you just kind of keep like sit there, and I was like focused on spitting shit fast, because if I could spit shit fast, people would think it sounded dope even if they didn't really hear what I was saying. And when you're that young and the other kids are that young, and they didn't really listen and they didn't really care for what I was saying, they just more cared for like how it sounded. And so I think that's when it started, and I focused on it and tried over and over and over until like I basically, and I think my ADHD helped with a lot of it, because like it's really weird, bro. Like I'd be rapping in my sleep, I swear to God, and singing in my sleep. My girls woke me up, bro, to me spitting bars to her, and she's like, "What the hell are you doing?" And I'm like, literally spitting bars, but I'm sleeping.
Yeah.
It's so crazy, but
that's weird.
My ADHD, it like runs it, bro. So like honestly, I don't even practice a whole lot. I don't even freestyle that much anymore, bro. And it just kind of comes, like I'm always counting syllables in my head. When I hear a word, I like find 5, 10, 20, 30 rhymes, words that rhyme with that. And, I find like homophones, and I just start going through like basically like a vocabulary and of different words that mean the same thing. And it just, my ADHD starts running it for me. And I think, learning to talk fast and me having ADHD led to me talking a lot as a kid. And basically just, I kind of developed the skill of being able to do that without actually trying.
Gotcha.
And yeah, it just kind of, that one came a little bit more naturally. It was like, it's honestly a blessing. So, I got to thank God for that one.
There you go. Cause I remember you would tell me, dude, just try to do this or try this. And it just wouldn't work out for me. But you and Junior can for real spit. And I was like, damn, they just must have it, cause I don't.
Thanks, bro.
But yeah, so then when was it the moment, or what moment was it where you're like, I actually want to do this for like a living or a career? Because that's what you want to do, right? You want to be a rapper.
Yeah. And like I hope hopefully it does. I mean, I've been really looking into it though, and like, there's some deeper thoughts I have about it. Music's definitely not my only outlet. Like I hope everyone knows that, like, Because, you know, there's a big chance that I won't get famous for my music. I won't go big or I won't make a lot of money off of it. But, like, I still love it as a passion, and that's okay. But my mind is still set on financially being in a situation much better than the average person. So just because if that doesn't work, don't think I won't get there. But basically, when I realized that I wanted to take it seriously, was I came back from Utah and I was still going at it a little. I hadn't really known anything about studios, mixing, producers, and all that. I was just kind of freestyling. And there's this kid, actually, Kid Finesse. I don't know. He's kind of like a little local artist here in Idaho. And he was actually first starting out too when I went to Bonneville. And he comes up to me. He's like, yo, bro, listen to my track. And at the time, like, I'm just thinking he's probably just as good as me. And I'm like, nah, bro, like, I got to focus on myself right now, bro. I'm good. But then he actually started putting in the work, you know, whether or not, you know, his opportunities were a little bit closer to him, who knows? And maybe he worked to get them. But he did hustle to get there. And I started seeing results. He started putting music out. I started seeing people giving him attention. And I realized, like shit, like, maybe, and I started feeling some type of way. I'm like, maybe I'm behind. Maybe I should have been putting in more work. But on top of that, we got like two completely different styles. So the work ethic is so much different.
So you think he like kind of pushed you into taking this a little bit more serious?
In a sense, I mean, it wasn't just him, but like, you know, I started talking to him, and then another local artist started popping out named Moko.
Yeah.
And then another one named Beau Young, and that's crazy because my name's Beau Young, and I'm like, what the hell, you know?
Yeah.
Like, and then like another one, Cody John, and like all of a sudden, like, then like all of a sudden I'm meeting like with like people that like are in the rock bands, and they know bigger people here like Lil Mike, and like, you know, just crazier and crazier stuff. And then I met a kid that opened up a show for E40.
Dang.
You know, yeah. You just start like meeting more and more people, and the more you start taking it seriously, the more you're gonna meet those serious connections, and those serious opportunities are gonna come. So I think I just saw other people doing it. It pushed me to want to follow that culture more, and then, you know, it just kind of started happening because I started going through the motions.
So what's an advice that you would give to a young kid who's maybe wanting to step into the music world? Maybe it doesn't have to be rap, right? But it's in the music industry. What do you tell them to start off? What do you start off with in the music industry?
Yeah, for sure. If you want to start,
Let's say the kid is 14, 15.
You need to you need to sit there and you need to experiment on like your voice, because everyone sounds different, man. You're not gonna be able to do the same type of music that you hear someone else do. Like, I have a lot of favorite rappers, bro, and I cannot do any of the music they do.
Right.
And it's either like my voice doesn't like quite fit in that range, or like, you know, my energy doesn't. And so you just got to figure out, you know, like where your voice sits, and on top of that, play around with it, get fun with it, have fun while you do it, because music's not a solid black and white, stay in the lines kind of thing. It's creativity. So there's no wrong way to do it. You can start backwards, you can start forwards, you can start in the middle, you know? And so with that being said, have fun with it and get creative with it. That's what makes new music, and that's what makes different and unique content. And it's by getting creative and trying new things. So first of all, do that. And then once you start doing that and finding your own threshold, from there, start writing. Just start writing full songs, you know, have hooks and have verses. Write full songs. Start constructing and organizing the song to a complete. And then once you do that, you know, make 5, 6, 12, 24, you know, 3-4 years go by, maybe you have 30, 40, and, you know, and whatnot. Once you're there, then if you really want to take it to the next level, invest in yourself and go take it to a studio, and now you have 30 songs to record, you know?
How much is a studio session going for right now?
It honestly depends. In LA, I'm sure it's a lot more, you know? It depends on the quality of the studio. It depends what you're going there for. And it depends on, you know, the producer.
Yeah.
So like for me, I'm working with some local producers, and they're like 20 an hour. I mean, like they do more for other people. I just kind of got there first. Before that, you know, I was working with another producer, and he did it by the project. So each song was $150, and that covers mixing, mastering, recording, and he produces a beat for you. So, you know, it just kind of depends. And like out in LA, you know, there's people that charge like 30 an hour. So that's why I said, you know, it's going to vary. It's going to vary where they go, but so is quality. So, you know, if you invest more, you're gonna get more back. But that's why I say go in, have the songs first. If you want to start off and you want to do it seriously, have the songs first, then take it somewhere. Because then if you're gonna be getting, trying to make
Yeah.
songs for 30 an hour, if you have 24 songs written, you might be able to bust 5 out in like 3 hours, and that's only $90. But if you
Yeah.
go there and have no idea what you're doing, you're gonna end up spending 5 just trying to write the song, and then you owe him way more.
So you write songs. So do you think that's because you're talking about how maybe music is not being a rapper won't go the way I want it to go, but you're talking about there's other outlets. Is being maybe
Producer?
a producer, like songwriter, is that one of the things you're looking at?
Yeah, no, definitely. So basically, if rapping, if I don't get enough attention from it, which honestly, like, I'm hitting kind of a wall here being in Idaho. I'm actually about to reach out to LA. I got a few people I've been talking to, so I hope that goes good. That's my
Yeah.
next step. But basically, my plan was eventually, how many years it takes, because I also got my own personal shit going on in life too, financially. But I want to basically go to school for sound engineering. That way I'll have the producer basics down.
Yeah.
And then once I'm, producing basic and whatnot, I'll be able to take that somewhere. And I want to go somewhere with like real music. So if I can't be a rapper, I take it to Tennessee or or New York or LA or Detroit, like somewhere like where music is a big culture there. I go rent my own space,
Yep.
have my own studio, and now I'm certified to work with that kind of stuff. And I think I'm, like I said, my social skills are a lot better than from what they were when I was younger. So I'm sure I'll be able to meet people out there, get connections, and hopefully, if I can't make my own music, I can, stay helping the culture and the community by helping other people reach what they want,
Yeah. That's badass.
Thanks,
That's
bro.
dope. Yeah, because dude, I keep losing my train of thought, but yeah, because I've dove into like little writing songs and whatnot, but I can never finish them.
And it's hard.
It's hard to write a song,
It
dude.
is. Yeah. It's a lot of, 'cause this is the hard thing, I feel like, with the song. You hear it in your head. You hear beat and you're like, oh shit, like I can literally hear this. But then you start writing, and maybe the first part comes out good, but once you reach about halfway to the last like 3/4, 2/4, that's when it becomes real work. That's where it's not fun anymore. That's when your brain's pooped. That's where the passion's over, and that's where you got to say, okay, like it's for real, and I got to fucking force myself to do this. And that's when music goes from being a passion and a hobby to becoming real work and labor.
Yeah. Yeah, that makes sense.
And that's basically what distinguishes just someone who raps and freestyles to a authentic music artist.
Yeah, for sure. That makes sense. That makes a lot of sense. We'll end with this question. Do you think living in the state of Idaho Falls or living here puts a wall in musicians? And if so, what do you think it is that puts that wall on there? What do you think that the wall is, if that makes sense?
That's a good question. Honestly, yes, I do. But let me think about this for a second.
Mm-hmm. Guys, go make sure to like, share, and follow the podcast. Go share it with a friend, guys. And yeah, hopefully you guys are enjoying the episode so far.
Okay. So yes, I do think that being in Idaho kind of creates like a barrier or a wall.
Mm-hmm.
Only because like there's a lot of talented people here. There's a lot of talent here in Idaho, but we're not as out there. We're not as out there. There's not as much people here. It's a lot more of a quiet local place.
Yeah.
And the people that are here, like we don't got a lot of people that are invested in that music culture.
Yep.
It's not as big as a thing to them, And that's just because of the type of people that are here. And so with that being said, we get a lot less attention, because we're not going to be able to expand if we don't, blow up here first. But if you're already not going to because of the people here, like let me just put it in a smaller scale example.
Yeah.
For example, our biggest music entertainment stadium. Well, I guess they got the Mountain America Stadium now. Before that though, it was the Waterfront and the Gem. You know,
Yep.
in Idaho Falls. And the Gem's it's smaller than
I think the waterfront
it's like a
holds.
gas station, bro.
Yeah.
It's like a gas station, literally. And so the occupancy's maybe 400 pushing it. I mean, we sold out at like 300 something, high 300s, and there was not enough room for people. So how are you gonna get noticed in a place that offers such a small amount of opportunity for you?
Yep.
Because if you are able to pull in more people than that, but you can't go to a place where you're gonna be able to do a show for more people than that, how many people are gonna commit themselves to you?
Exactly. Yeah, and then I mean, if you sell a place like the Gem, which holds 300, how many times are you gonna have to sell it where it doesn't become the same 300 people?
Right, exactly.
You know,
Exactly.
maybe you sell it twice and it's different people. Maybe three times pushing it, it's 1,000 people. But after that, if you were sell it again, then I think it'd be kind of more of the same people
Right, and like
going.
half of those people are like, damn, bro, I'm not going there again.
Yeah. So that makes sense. That's I think a good way to close it is that the Idaho Falls doesn't have enough music culture in it yet.
Yeah,
We're
definitely.
behind in that in a lot of things, honestly, but it's for sure in the music I can see it, and in how we dress, and you know some of our values here are very different from other states.
Absolutely, yeah.
So, anyways, yeah, we'll end the episode here, guys. Thank you all for tuning in. Any last thing you want to share with them?
Yeah, go check out my song. It's on Spotify and Apple right now. Rap name is Caution, all caps, eyes and exclamation point. I got one song out right now called The Function. Thank you guys, and thank you, Brandon, for having me. It was a pleasure.
For sure, bro. Go check it out, guys. Go check out his music. He'll be posting more music soon, hopefully, right, Bo?
Yes, sir. You know it.
And yeah, go check out the new episodes coming out soon. Love you all. Take care. Thanks for listening. Bye.